They want to be the ones with the guns. They don't want us to have the guns.
Guns for protection. Novel concept, America. I got news for you. There's only one thing you need to keep yourself safe. It's called a rape whistle. And I got them in my store. Only police can hear them.
I would ask people who say that their right to feel safe trumps my right to bear arms, would you not rather have the freedom to walk in any public place at any time that you desired?
These criminal gangs literally shooting it out in the streets, shooting up civilians, killing everyone, anyone in sight, just to make sure that they maintained a hold on their territorial monopoly.
Sheriff Richard Mack, former sheriff of Graham County, Arizona, retired now. I was an undercover narcotics officer, and I was a drug warrior. And fighting in the drug war actually taught me that the drug war is nothing but a farce.
A monopolist or a cartel, they've got a rather sweet deal, and it's not based on actually providing goods or services, it's based on their monopoly. And anytime someone wants to enter the market and try to break their monopoly, they have an incentive to stop that. And in the black market, the way that manifests is through violence.
Smoking weed is not an immoral act, but since it's illegal to get it, have it, and use it, people end up having to hang out with criminals.
In the past, procuring medicine was a nightmare for me. You never knew what you were getting. It was usually just garbage.
And they get treated like criminals. Legalize weed, and the entire criminal aspect goes away.
Welcome to Pharmaceuticals, man. Give you a little verbal tour here. Over in the back corner there, we carry our Dixie elixirs. We have medicated sodas, grape, strawberry, orange. We also carry all, as you can see in front of us, all of our edibles. We have gummies, lollipops, hard candies, chocolates, cookies, crispy treats, and then the big shebang. We got 55 strains of medical marijuana at any one time.
Drug cartels don't run liquor stores. If drugs were legalized tomorrow, drug lords would be out of a job.
The decisive vote of the 36th state against prohibition is happy news for the grain raisers of the United States and for many others throughout the land. With an eye on December 5th, work is being rushed in distilleries and bottling works. Thousands are being called back to work in plants of allied industries. At least 500,000 new jobs are predicted as the result of repeal. From keg and barrel factories, perhaps the most closely allied line, immediate benefits from repeal extend into almost every line of business and commerce. However, everyone's not waiting until December 15th. The lid is off in many places, with the downfall of prohibition being celebrated in real old-time hilarity. Yes, and by the renewal of old acquaintances. Hotels and nightclubs report a real pre-war spirit among those revelers.
Marijuana was outlawed in the U.S. in the 1930s from a combination of greed, fear, and racism. Alcohol prohibition had been tried and failed, so the nanny state do-gooders needed another crusade. Rumors were spread that blacks and Mexicans were trying to get white children hooked, even though marijuana is not addictive. A newspaper in 1934 reported, "Marijuana influences Negroes to look at white people in the eyes, step on white men's shadows, and look at a white woman twice." Billionaire newspaper owner William Randolph Hearst was heavily invested in paper production from trees and did not want to have hemp paper compete with his empire. Hearst used his newspapers as a bully pulpit, publishing prevarication like, "Marijuana is a shortcut to the insane asylum. Smoke marijuana cigarettes for a month and what once was your brain will be nothing but a storehouse of horrid specters. Hashish makes a murderer who kills for the love of killing out of the mildest-mannered man who ever laughed at the idea that any habit could ever get him." A Montana paper reported, "When some beet-field peon takes a few traces of this stuff, he thinks he has just been elected president of Mexico, so he starts out to execute all his political enemies." Henry J. Anslinger, a careerist Fedgoon and buddy of Hearst, basically became America's first drug czar by spinning tales like, "Most marijuana smokers in the U.S. are Negroes, Hispanics, Filipinos, and entertainers. Their satanic music, jazz and swing, result from marijuana use. This marijuana causes white women to seek sexual relations with Negroes, entertainers, and any others." The DuPont Chemical Company considered hemp a threat to their new patent, nylon, and also considered this plant that they could not patent, a plant that people could grow at home for free, a possible competitor to their pharmaceuticals. William Randolph Hearst and the DuPonts goaded their buddies in Congress to effectively outlaw pot with a Marijuana Tax Act in 1937. This was a bill that no one read and was passed in one very long, lie-filled session. The only resistance came from a congressman who wanted more information before voting because he didn't know what marijuana was. Most drug laws in the U.S. and our entire current war on drugs spring from the single day of big business hijacking Congress. Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around. And not many citizens know how marijuana became illegal. They just think, the government knows best. Pot must be bad, or it wouldn't be illegal.
Uh-oh! There'll be no more scenes such as this. Barrel after barrel of prize whiskeys destroyed by government agents. It's going to be a cold winter for the barrel busters.
We're here for our patients. We keep our prices low. $43 an eighth is the maximum for our members, and we have a daily special. Every day it changes. We have $38 eighths as well.
Thomas Jefferson wrote in the Declaration of Independence of the concept of inalienable rights to life, liberty, and property. How can you possibly defend your life, liberty, and property in today's age without a gun?
The Second Amendment does not grant rights. The Second Amendment merely guarantees a right that already exists.
Documents don't grant rights, they declare rights. The Bill of Rights could be outlawed tomorrow and you'd still have those rights. They're in you. You're born with them. They're innate.
If the Second Amendment were repealed, it wouldn't change our innate right to defend ourselves. Because it's an innate right. Merely stating on paper that something is or isn't so does not change the reality.
The Second Amendment did not yet exist on April 19, 1775. But the Patriots at Lexington and Concord knew they didn't need permission.
The federal government likes to quote the Supremacy Clause. Maybe they ought to read it, because the Supremacy Clause does not say that the federal government is supreme. Far from it. It says only those laws made in pursuance of the Constitution are supreme.
Well, natural rights are the rights that you're born with. Like any animal on this planet, you have the right to defend yourself, the right to eat, to drink, to stay alive.
All creatures have innate abilities to defend themselves, be it through teeth, claws, the ability to camouflage themselves.
What's under your shirt?
I have a level 3A bullet-resistant vest on.
When you know, as a potential criminal, that every person around you is possibly armed, probably armed, you're a lot less likely to mug grandma on the street corner than if you know that no one around has a gun and you do. It's already recognized that when you pass laws restricting gun ownership, the law-abiding people who you don't necessarily have to worry about are the only ones that are going to follow that law. The people who are going to be out running around mugging grandmother, robbing stores, doing those sort of things that involve a gun, they're already willing to break the law, so what's breaking one more law to them?
Article 1, Section 7 of the Wyoming State Constitution says that, quote, absolute, arbitrary power over the lives, liberty, and property of free men exists nowhere in a republic, not even in the largest majority, unquote.
As far as I'm concerned, nobody gives you those rights. You're born with those rights as being part of nature.
I don't have to be worried about cops pulling up and arresting me or scaring me or, you know, having something on my record, letting my grandma down. I don't get in trouble, and I never have. I am a good girl.
If 99% of the country voted to make eating ice cream illegal, it wouldn't make eating ice cream wrong.
Oh, machine. Gertie, it's Hetty. Hi, hun. I was wondering, is your son home from college yet? This chemo, it's just making me sick, and that stuff he got me last time really helped, and, you know, I could sleep, I could eat. I need some help here, and I'm really hoping that you're there soon, and he's there, and would you call me, please, hun? I'm just beside myself.
Gleeful salutations and a happy evening, madame. Your unauthorized request has been rerouted. Smoking ganja is very, very bad. Authorities are en route to protect yourself from yourself. Please remain docile while they arrive. Goodbye.